Hi, welcome to OMAT. So glad you're here. Have you ever cried over spilt milk? Maybe it was like the last of your milk, now you don't get to have your coffee and you're crying. Or maybe one of your parents said your whole life that you're very, very sloppy and here you are spilling milk and you're crying. Or maybe something recently happened that you haven't cried about yet and here it is bubbling up. Well, if it's hysterical, it's historical. Let it out. The more we push it down, the more hysterical it'll be when it comes back up. You can have your feelings. Go ahead and have them. Cry, let it out. I think that's why they say let it out, because otherwise you're just kind of continuing to push it down and it's there. So let's release it if it comes out. You don't have to figure it out. You can just sit with the feelings for the moment. Also, that's what we use our tools for. If I'm crying, I might want to use one of my OMAT tools, contacting someone, writing, meditating, pausing, that kind of thing. So let's sharpen our tools. Let's get present. First thing we do get present. I look around. I see that no one's chasing me. I can slow down. Nothing's happening but OMAT. And we can get into our first exercise of gratitude. And this is one of those things that if I feel myself sort of bubbling to start being hysterical, I find a little bit of gratitude because of it combats it a little bit for me to stay even enough to see why I'm feeling that way. I could still have those feelings, but let's see if we can find some gratitude as a practice for today. Let's look for some right now. Let's wrap for now. Finding water. And during that minute, I really genuinely thought I have been grateful for crying, because sometimes I feel sort of overdue for it. I'll put on a sad movie. I need to let it out. I don't know if you feel the same way, but I've definitely experienced that. Also, the pause. Let's pause. We don't have to think about the things that are going on in our head. We don't have to think about the future, the past, all the time. We get to decide what we're going to think about, and that's what we're going to do right now. Let's make a decision to pause what we were thinking about and maybe think about following the breath or scanning the body, whatever works for you. Let's try it out, sitting in any comfortable position, eyes opened or closed. Breathe. As we come back, let's have water. What's funny about meditation, it could be consistent, it could feel the same way for days, and sometimes it could feel completely different, even though we are doing the same thing. I know I sit there, I close my eyes most of the time. Sometimes it feels a little anxious. Sometimes it feels very relaxed. Sometimes I'm smiling. It's interesting that a pause could be so many different things. Let's keep practicing. Let's let it out in the way of our pen and pad. Whatever comes out, let's let something bubble up, or let's let something be completely insignificant that we write about, so that we practice writing, whether we want to or not, whether we have something to say or not. Let's put the pen to pad and start writing right now. Let's wrap the sentence, the thought, the writing. We don't have to wrap it beautifully. It doesn't have to have a bow. We simply can have water and move on. And it's not necessarily easy, but we can do it. And that's what we're practicing. Oh, what did I write? Like, stop. We don't have to think about that anymore. Let's do some yoga. Let's stretch it out. Let's move slowly. Let's feel the changes in our body as we do a sun salutation. If you could stand, stand. And we're going to inhale our arms out and up. And feel the stretch, meaning elongate, reach for the ceiling while you're looking up, and fold forward. We're going to round our back here so the stretch is nice and stretchy in the back, bending our knees as much as we want. And inhale, halfway lift, flat back. Let's get into that high plank. Plant your palms down where they are, step your feet back right into a high plank, and then lower slowly all the way down to the ground. Once the whole front of your body is on the floor, push your palms. It'll get your chest to come up, your head comes up, and look up. Stay there for a moment or meet you in down dog. Hips up, upside down V, heels as close to the ground or on the ground. Faces facing the thighs here. And let's walk forward towards our hands before we roll up, meeting our palms above the head and exhaling them down to the center of the chest. And allowing yourself to find the ending of the sun salutation, meaning you can do a second down dog if that's how you feel. You can find your water right now. Again, these poses, if you move slowly, your body will tell you a little more to the right, a little more center. It will happen as we practice. Let's keep going. Let's go into our plank pose. Let's not think about it. Let's get into that ready position. What does that look like to you? Are you down on the ground already? Great. You have your mind made up. I'm going to do it. I'll be strong. I will get into that pose, and we're going in 3, 2, 1, and up in plank right now. This is just the first moment. Make that first moment happen for yourself. You'll be, I usually get very proud of myself. That's 10 seconds. Like, oh, I'm in the pose already. I did that. Let's see what else I can do. I didn't want to be in this pose, but now I am, and I'm in for 20 seconds. Now, what happens to your mind and body? That they're doing such strong things. They're finding a way to help you out and work you out like this for 30 seconds. Look at you, more than halfway done. Can you find a little bit more energy? And that's what we're practicing. How do you find that energy for what you need for 20 more seconds? Can you generate it in your mind, push it into your body, mind and body working together, knowing that there's 10 more seconds left. We're going to finish as strong as our body and mind will allow us for today, making sure you're breathing for 3, 2, 1, and you're done. What's that look like? Come down off your plank. Take your time. Notice I'm not rushing. I'm never going, all right, next, 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 next. There is time to find a stretch maybe, to find some water, to find a little bit of credit. Here's my credit dance for you. Who's got some credit? You do right now. Who's got some credit? You do. From me, from your own brain, from wherever you want to get it. Let's get it. Let's practice. Let's break some procrastination. You know how you didn't want to go into that plank pose, but you found a way to get it? That's what we're doing. We're looking for ways to do the things that we want and need. So let's break some procrastination by finding the smallest thing to do and take action right now. Wrap the task for now. Find your water. Notice what you were able to do. Look at your beakers a little bit from the experiment. Did you finish your taxes? Maybe not. Maybe you just took a vitamin. Maybe you just picked up something off the floor. Maybe you threw something out. Whatever it is, that's just what today is. We're going to keep going. We're going to go into our connection minute. We absolutely need people. We need other beings in order to live our life. So let's practice that interaction. Social interaction really does take practice. Let's say hello to someone. See how they're doing. Let's look to connect right now. Let's wrap for now. Find the water. Oh, the vulnerability in the connection, am I right? Sometimes the vulnerability happens even before I think about what to write. Even as I'm thinking, who do I write to? All those feelings, very vulnerable. Let's shake it off, shake it off. While we're shaking, we're already moving. Let's go into our aerobics. You know what time it is. It's time to move. So let's get it done in 3, 2, 1. We're moving our bodies right now. Now, this is just like any other exercise. Maybe you didn't feel like it, but if you're moving now, hooray for you, it's 10 seconds in. If you haven't started moving, now is a good time. You know when else is a good time? Now. Now is a good time. Let's keep going. If we're going, that's 10 more seconds. That makes it 20. Do you have a little bit more in you? Find it, generate it. Do you know how to generate your own energy? Maybe practice that for 30 seconds. What does that mean? For me, it means I think I want to stop. I don't want to keep going. But for 20 more seconds, I can say, hey, I'm not hurting myself. I do have this somewhere in me. All I'm doing is practicing showing up for myself. I'm going to keep practicing for 10 seconds. I'm going to find that thing in me. As long as I'm not hurting myself, I'm going to keep going for 3, 2, 1. And you're done. There it is. Stretch your way back, find your water, find that credit. Thank you for taking OMAT today.